The Flash 27, legacy number 827, Christopher Cantwell and Mark Waid writing, with Vasco Georgiev on the art. So yeah, we started picking this up again last issue. This is also tying into KO. It's got Darkseid Legion stuff in here. Last issue we had Bart and Wally both being slungshot into the past. And the big cliffhanger was that a version of Max Mercury is there, but he seems to be evil and working with Darkseid's Legion. And that's where we kind of pick up with this. And Bart is very conflicted and confused by all this, and points out that, you know, it basically does like a little recap here, just in case you don't know who the Darkseid Legion are, if you've not been reading all the other DC books. He's like, hey, I'm from the 31st century. I know what the Legion of Superheroes are, but these aren't those Legion of Superheroes. This is some weird warp version that worship Darkseid. So he sets that up.
The fact that they're done in the chibi style here, that matches Impulse's, like, he'll have thought bubbles that are just pictures, but they're done in that same style. So like on the first page, when he, you know, is thinking that Max Mercury's lost it, there's the one done up there. And then there's a couple other throughout the issue, which I think is a fun stylistic choice. But yeah, the fact that his retelling of events here is done in that style is a lot of fun, and it kind of shows Georgiev, you know, what he can really do here. And the fact that Darkseid kind of looks a little cute. He's menacing, but looks a little cute. Yeah.
Darkseid is so adorable.
Darkseid look at that. Yeah. And then also the fact that they're talking about Omega Speed, right? So it's not the Speed Force at this point in time. Max Mercury, or Whirlwind, as they're calling him. That's talking about Omega Speed.
That's what he's using, and they're saying that they'll replace speedsters with their own speedsters that use the Omega Speed rather than the Speed Force, and eventually XS shows up in this, the Darkseid Legion XS, not the regular one, and she's using Omega Speed, not Speed Force. So because Wally and Bart are still using Speed Force, well, to an extent, anyway.
And they're going through and trying to use it, or they're trying to replace it, right? So it feels like that's why they're going back in time.
Why the Speed Force is
timey-wimey stuff.
It's disintegrating and whatnot.
As always, is it a Flash story without the Speed Force in trouble at this point?
True. Wally gets tackled by Max when he runs into Impulse, so they fight a little bit, and there's some fun actiony panels there of people tumbling around. Eventually, Bart's running away, and that's when XS shows up and tries to tackle him. He runs onto a train full of passengers, and meanwhile Wally gets away from the Legion members, but is able to steal one of their flight rings. So Wally, there's actually a really cool panel here where Wally's running, he looks at the ring, and then you get a panel from the side, like a wide panel from the side of him, like basically switching from a run to taking off into flight. And I was like, oh, that's actually pretty neat. That's a pretty cool shot.
It is really cool, man. It's feel that was a bit of Mark Waid going like, I've always wanted to make the Flash fly.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, so Bart runs onto this train, and they're in Siberia, they figure out. And Wally's like, Bart, why did you go onto a train with innocent passengers? What are you doing, you fool? So Wally like sort of vibes in, or tries to vibe in from the top of the train, although some more Darkseid Legion members are coming after him. So we get this little bit of a showdown on the train. It is what it is. Although it's actually, I mean, Wally and Bart bicker for a little bit, right? Yeah. You know, because he's like, oh, you know, you messed all this up by going back in time. Look at all the mess you're making. And Bart's like, oh, we're heroes. We're supposed to do the right thing always. So it's a whole thing. Yeah.
And as they're arguing, that's when evil Cosmic Boy pulls up the roof of the train, like off of a tin can. And Bart just goes, oh, man. Yeah, so like they're bickering, right? They could have been doing more. And we also get to a point where Impulse goes and addresses the people on the train because he got bored on the watchtower and decided to learn some languages, which I thought that was fun. Well, so he tells them danger, hands, feet, air, just very basic stuff.
Yeah, I will say, I do think the pacing of those two pages was a little bit strange, because when Wally turned and said, "You speak Russian?" ? The last person that spoke on that page, in fact, the only person that had spoken on that entire page before that was Wally himself, when he said, "Sorry, ma'am, I hope there's nothing irreplaceable in this bag," because he throws a bag at one of the Legion members. And I'm like, oh, he's referring to the last page when Bart said a couple of things in Russian. But it felt weird. Like, it felt weird for him not to say that right after Bart said that. It was such a gap that it took me a second to realize, oh yeah, he did say something in Russian. Like, you know, but maybe that's because I was tired or I was reading it. It's entirely possible. Yeah. But it did make me pause for a second and consider what I was looking at. Yeah. But
because he doesn't want them, because what the Darkseid Legion plan is just to electrify the whole train, right? So that's where he tells them, don't touch anything, hands, feet in the air. You know, so don't touch the bottom. And then Wally grabs that lady's bag and then throws it at Evil Lightning Lad, which I thought was fun. You know, because sometimes you just got to hit a villain with the bag.
Yeah, and then they evacuate the train, speed them all out, and that's the whole thing. And then, and then Bart, his powers seem to be gone after this. He says he can't feel the Speed Force. There's this panel where he's just in like black negative space. And the book ends with Wally saying we have to go find Barry, right? We have to go find him now, and that's where the final page is. Again, actually, I said this about Detective Comics. This didn't really feel like that much of a last page to me. So I guess a slight thing for that, but I mean, I feel very similar to this as I did about Green Lantern, which is it's fun enough, it's very light and kind of fluffy in a lot of ways, but ultimately doesn't feel that consequential, right? Because it feels like whenever we get to the end of KO, this plot line of them jumping through time will have wrapped up, and it won't really feel like it mattered that much, and you know, it's kind of got that tie-in feel to it.
Yeah, it's like what can we do to keep these characters busy?
That's what it feels like. It feels like, what can we do? Whilst, you know, because we don't want to do a story that just ignores the event, even and just say it's set after or before or after it. They want to have something that feels like it's going on during the event, but that means they're very limited in what they can do, and they have to do all this timey-wimey stuff just to make it feel like they can pull all these big strings. So I don't know. I like, it's perfectly entertaining, but a bit light and fluffy because it's an event tie-in.
Yeah. And I just as a fan of Bart Allen and being the voice, I don't know, and I don't know if this is both Cantwell and Wade, but the voice for Bart and Wally and everything, it just fits, and it feels nice because I haven't read Impulse in a minute, you know, and like he popped up in some of the Atom stuff here and there, and that was pretty good. But this feels, you know, very, very on brand and on point. And as much as they did bicker, though, the Wally and him stuff I thought was a lot of fun. You know, the whole you speak Russian.
It's funny, you know? Bickering, though. Well, that's the thing. Like Bart is a little shit at times, and I think that's kind of, you know, it's been
he's
nailed
entertaining.
Here. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of fun, but yeah, it reeks of what are the Flashes doing right now? You know, we'll throw timey-wimey Darkseid Legion, you know, type stuff, and here we are.
Yeah. I mean, it might feel like a big deal if it was like, oh, if they can take down this Darkseid Legion, it'll help with what's going on in KO. But because KO's entire premise is that at the end of it, someone will just get to rewrite reality, and it won't matter anymore, it's hard to make any of this side stuff feel like it's even that important in the grand scheme of things. So, I don't know. It's kind of in that same weird kind of place. And I think if I was comparing this to Green Lantern, which I'd say is very similar in quality, I think this is just a nudge lower, for no other reason than just, I don't know, maybe just Ollie and Hal, their banter just felt like it was like, oh, we've not had this in a while, and it feels a bit fresher, I guess. But, you know, I don't want to be too negative on it either. It's perfectly fine.
I would say, and for me, being like a longtime Flash fan, just getting to see them interact here and go on this, you know, time adventure, the Evil Max Mercury, I would put it maybe just a notch above the Green Lantern stuff.
Well, that's the thing, though. The Evil Max Mercury part of it just feels kind of like a weird, like, I don't know, like we need something spicy in here, so we're going to have an Evil Max Mercury running around. But I'm not actually that interested in it because I don't think it's going to stick or have a great reason behind it.
No, but I definitely feel like it's going to be Bart having to overcome Evil Max Mercury. That's his arc here, right? Because of what Max represented to him and all this other stuff. You know, and yeah, so I'm very curious to see where this goes, just to see, like, are we going to do another time travel? Or are we going to go through multiple things on the next one? Like, how long are we going to be spinning gears for KO? You know, like, are we going to feel parts of the
About another
event happen
3 or
through
4
this?
months, I assume.
That's what I mean. Like, are we going to feel like when something big happens in KO, like, is it going to be shown across these type deal?
I can't see how it will, but just because of how, like, you know, how sort of like wrapped in a bubble the main KO tournament is, right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't see how it would affect anything elsewhere. And the best you're going to get is like what Superman did, which is where it just kind of inserts like little extra bits that happened in there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's just like we've got a lot of books tying into an event, which inherently, because of its premise, can't really be tied into that much.
It's an untieable event.
Yeah. I mean, I know they set up the whole idea that like, some of the heroes are evacuating Earth, but they've kind of made that just the Titans, right? Everything else is doing other stuff. And we'll get to, I mean, the next book we're going to talk about is also a tie-in to KO. So, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the tie-in side of this is working that well. They're kind of just fluffy, but hey, is what it is. Matt, what are you giving The Flash 27?
I mean, it's 7.5.
I am going to go 6.5. And we'll leave it at that.